Thank you, gentlemen. Stuart, you're the chairman of Trossach's Search and Rescue Service. And Murray, you are the, and I have to look here to get your title right, National Community Resilience Manager for the Scottish Ambulance Service. So you two guys, again, are a bit of a yin and yang situation, that you're two parts of the same whole in terms of looking after the communities that you live in. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and how it relates one to another?
Okay, so yes, I look after community resilience on behalf of the Scottish Ambulance Service. Community resilience for us really means around supporting our 134 community first responder schemes that we have around the country, made up of just under 1,500 volunteers. In that we provide support and training to our community first responders, not just to enable them to go and respond to emergency calls in their local community, but also deliver some community-based education around CPR and public access DFibs.
I think the partnership with the Scottish Ambulance Service is excellent because there's no way they can get to all the out-of-hospital cardiac arrests in the time necessary. So groups of community first responders across the whole of Scotland are a means of getting that care to the patient very quickly. And we rely on the ambulance service giving us that high quality training, providing backup, providing equipment, and dispatching us. So there's a lot of interaction as well. It's not just the community resilience team, it's the dispatchers, the call takers, it's also the crews that we work with. It's a team working together, but mostly volunteers.
And Stuart, being a community first responder seems like a pretty big commitment. You've got to be trained, you've got to be on call. You know, you may have just finished walking the dog and you get called out to the pier on a blustery night to resuscitate someone. Why is it you think that community first responders do what they do?
Mad, mostly, I think. I don't know, it's just like other volunteers. It's like where people volunteer to become a special constable or a volunteer or retained firefighter or whatever else it is in the community. I think it's people that are interested in the first aid element and they're interested in being able to put their first aid skills. In my experience, most people are first aiders of some description and they just want to be able to do more with their skills in their local community. And so they're happy to be involved.
Great. And what kind of a difference do you think it can make having a first responder at the scene of some medical catastrophe, even if it's just for a few minutes before the ambulance arrives?
I think the advantages are massive. The difference that a first responder makes to a patient outcome is huge, not just in cardiac arrest, but all the other different types of emergency calls that they go to. I say that the community first responders can give two drugs. One is oxygen and the other one is TLC, which we all love because it's free and there's nobody's allergic to it. And it's huge. You know, the difference that these guys make is phenomenal, not just in the care that they deliver to patients, but if we take the case that we've just seen, it was because of the community first responders that the physiotherapist had a defibrillator. If they're not at the scene of an incident, they are still impacting on the outcome of the patient's condition in their area. It's the ultimate voluntary job, really. What other voluntary role would you be invited into somebody's home to rescue them from the jaws of death, if you like? So
Murray, I think that qualifies you for the first round tonight, doesn't it? Because you've used the you've used the phrase. But one final question. Murray, your job is to look after community first responders for the whole country. You're Mr. Community First Responder, really, in a sense. What is your vision then for where this could be? If there were more people like Stuart and the folk that work with Stuart and Gillian and all the rest of them, if there were more of them in more places, how could it look optimally?
Ideally, if we had a first responder scheme in every community in Scotland, that would be fantastic because it's ultimately going to impact on the outcome of a patient, particularly in cardiac arrest. Now, I know that that's not realistic. However, what we can do is we can look at the other work that community first responders do that can go into neighbouring communities around community education and the placement of public access defibrillators. We are always looking to increase the role of our volunteers in terms of delivering enhanced training to their schemes and other kind of skill sets and training as well. So for me, it's always blue sky thinking. I don't think there should be any limitations. I think we should explore all options until proven otherwise, if you like.
And finally, for both of you, if one of us wanted to get involved and become a community first responder, how do we access that? How do we start?
You can have a look on the Scottish Ambulance Service website, and there is a page for community resilience, and it gives you contacts in each area of Scotland, and you can send off an email there, or there's a phone number as well. You can make contact, and then the ambulance service get back in touch, and they'll try to put you in touch with a local group, because there's groups all over the country. If there is a local group, and there may be a need if there isn't a local group, I don't know what your current policy is about extending groups where there isn't one and there's a need for one, but there's got to be a need. So it's quite it's quite a lengthy process. People have got to go through disclosure checks, and they've got to go through training, and there's got to be a proper recruitment process. But those that are committed stay the course. If you find out the people that drop by the wayside, it was just a flash idea they had and they don't want to do it, but most people stay the course and get a lot of benefit from it. And what I think from people that want to join, it's exceptionally good for young people. We've had quite a number of young people that have joined as first responders, not just in our group, but Forth Valley First Responders and East Nuke and RAF Lookers and so on, lots of other groups, who then have gone on to not only maybe become members of the ambulance service, but have joined the police or the fire brigade, or gone into nursing, or even we've had two who've become doctors. So it's a route into something that's worthwhile on a personal level as well as for your community.
Brilliant. Well, we salute what you do. Thank you very much for taking a few moments to share some of it with us. Thank you, gents. Thank you.